Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Westland Unity Center in Westland, Oregon. It's September 27th, and my name is Jan Carruthers. I'm the speaker assistant for today, and this is the perfect day for you to be here with us. We bless and welcome each one of you as you arrive one by one in this digital extraordinary time. And in Unity, we believe that each one of us dwells in spirit and each one of us is here by divine appointment. And if you're new to Unity or Unity of Westland, we invite you to visit our website, www.worldhealing.org. And if you have issues that you would like to ask for prayer, you can also go to silentunity.org. And now our center mission, and you may know this, it's the Unity Center is a ministry where people of all ages, backgrounds, and beliefs celebrate the one common spiritual thread that lives in every heart. And I'm thrilled to welcome our senior minister, our transition minister, Reverend Julie Applegate, who will open our Sunday celebration with prayer. Julie? Unmute.
Thank you, Jan. Our mute and unmute on our Zoom. I was thinking that sometimes my husband would like to have that just as a family dynamic, the mute and but so not today, but sometime during this week, I was looking through my books and I happened to pull off the shelf one of my very well-worn Joel Goldsmith books when I was really trying to ground my faith, my belief. I believed, but I needed to have my belief affirmed. And this was a very important book to me. So I was looking through it this week because of our topic. And I just want to share a prayer treatment from this book. And he says before he begins this, God is neither health nor disease. God is spirit. And all that we can possibly have is the Spirit of God. We rise above this pair of opposites as we realize there is no selfhood apart from God. And it is not God doing something for us, but God as us. So let's come together and just focus on this, because I have faith that I am infinite, and I speak my word in the first person because there is only one of us. And I am eternal. I am immortal, not in and of myself, separate and apart from God, because God is the life and substance of my being. Infinity is the quality and perfection and the quality of being. The Word is made flesh. All flesh is formed of the Word of God. I am therefore the perfect Word of God, made flesh, made manifest. My body and my experiences, being of the essence and substance of God, God governed, can embody only the activity, harmony, grace, joy, and beauty of God. Nothing external can affect the perfection, whether it is in the form of food, germs, ideas, experiences, or thoughts. Nothing foreign to God can enter the field of my being today. And I affirm this, I know this, and I let it be with deep gratitude. And I say, and so it is. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Julie. And another reading today. And today I was looking for something that would fit specifically with Julie's topic of faith. And I was discovering a book that I hadn't looked at for a long, long time from Reverend Ed Townley, Meditations on the Mount, a daily guide to spiritual living. And I realized that it's more than a reading, it's a whole talk. So I'm going to be talking about him in the future service. So I opened the Daily Word, and wouldn't you know, the topic is faith. With faith, nothing is impossible for me. With gratitude, I use my faith to trust in the good that is always present, even when it has not yet manifested. I pray with faith. I discern the truth that always endures, even though the most difficult circumstances. As I concentrate on harmony and love, all thoughts of lack, limitation, and discord simply dissolve. As I speak with faith, I use positive words to express my belief in myself and others as divine beings. I act with faith. I access deep, lasting strength and fortitude that help me surmount any challenges. Inspired by my faith, I move forward with confidence. Nothing is impossible for me. If you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. Matthew 17:20. And that's what I was looking for in Reverend Ed Townley's book. So anytime you are looking for guidance, simply open up on your computer Daily Word. It's there every day. Thank you. And now, as Sharon is bringing up a slide, we have a wonderful piece of music called The Journey, and there's a special surprise for you on this slide.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Sometimes you sing a song of joy, other times you sing in the blues. Through all the ups and downs, I've come to see I'm being guided by a force of mystery. Traveling on the journey. The soul is on a journey of a destiny unknown, and it follows faithfully the path which is its own. 2 steps forward, 1 step back along the way. Life is sweeter when you take it day by day. Traveling on the journey. Traveling on the journey. I don't know what road lies ahead or where I'm bound. It's only in reflection that I realize what I found. Traveling on the journey. Sure gonna enjoy the ride, wondering what it's like on either side. Yeah. On the journey, I heard the titans call to find another way through the odyssey of every breaking day. I'm traveling on the journey, yeah. 2 steps forward, 1 step back along the way. Traveling on, life ain't nothing but a journey.
And now Reverend Julie.
Thank you, Jan. Wow, we are so blessed to be able to experience some of these great musics and great musicians that we have. So, and it all seems to come together just perfect in what we're talking about. And so, this is the 3rd week we have been in a conversation about faith. And it was one of my favorite topics. I've been able to talk about it more as I really become grounded in what I believe. And that was a great reading, Jan, that idea that if we have faith of the seed, the size of a seed, that's a bit of a tongue twister, isn't it? Size of a seed. Size of a seed. We can move the mountains, and we can move the mountains in our life. And I used to just, listen to that and really like it. But as you were reading that, I had my eyes closed, and it's so powerful because I have come to know that that is absolutely accurate. So thank you for sharing that with us. But anyway, we are in the 3rd week of our conversation about faith. And last week we talked about how important it is to have doubt and skepticism in order to become clear about what we really think and what we really believe and what we don't believe, because what we believe, what we have faith in, will become the guideposts of our life. And also, we talked about not feeling guilty because we can't believe in what we might have been raised to believe, or we might be going against some of the cultural or the family dictates in a way. But that is not to feel guilty about that. And I shared part of my journey about my journey to faith and to the place where I felt at home. And we had a lively discussion afterwards. And what I took away from that discussion is that each of us has an inner sense of what we believe and what we don't believe. And when we found that belief mirrored, say, in a teaching or an organization or something, we automatically knew it. It just resonated with us. It was a reflection in our own mirror of our beliefs. So, and we come to understand that it's really important to trust our own intuition. My family's farm was and is in this small Mormon community in southern Idaho, where everybody was Mormon, and when I was growing up, and everyone was in some way related. Don't get the wrong idea. I think they married outside the group. So you're going to point to me and say, that's why. But anyway, it was really, and I really like the Mormon Church. When I talk about the Mormon Church, and even though I'm not a Mormon, doesn't mean that I don't have a respect for a great deal of the way that they do their communities. I've never believed in the theology and in that type of thing, but they really do have a wonderful way of family and supportive community. So I'm never negative about that. But my grandparents were Mormon. but they were also free thinkers. And I think one of the great gifts, and I say this many, many times in deep gratitude, was they gave me the freedom to think for myself, and not only to think for myself, uh, but encouraged me to think for myself and find my own truth. And that was such a gift. And what I discovered when I became a minister is that maybe not everybody received that gift. And when I speak of faith or anything, when I speak of anything as coming from the pulpit or as a minister, I can only speak about what I know, what I've experienced. And this is especially true about faith and belief. And I had a phase, I realized as I was thinking about this, that I went through, and maybe some of you have gone through. I think it's a typical phase. Number one was doubt and a rejection of what I maybe had been taught. The second phase was as a seeker. And I know those in our traditions and often call ourselves seekers. And I hope maybe we are no longer seekers, but that we have found what it is that we're seeking. But that's okay. You know, we're still lots that we don't know. So, and the third phase was discovery, which was super exciting. And then I believe the fourth phase was I believe, so help my unbelief. And the fifth phase is a phase that I feel like I am just floating in right now, is conviction. And that's a really, I mean, I can't tell you how many decades it took to get there. So this isn't, for me at least, an overnight thing. Maybe some of you whose consciousness is different just gets it all at once. But it has been a journey for me. And conviction boils down to simply knowing. My convictions are part of the fabric of my life. We don't think about our convictions. Or if we do, or if I do, I simply marvel at them. For example, it's like I go out and I get in my car. I have to go somewhere yesterday. I think I had to go to do a wedding, and I was thinking about the wedding. I wasn't thinking about starting my car. So I just go out, get in my car, and I start my car. It just automatically starts without thinking. That is what I mean by faith and deep conviction. It's just a knowing. It's something we don't even have to think about. And sometimes I do think about it because I absolutely love my car and feel deep gratitude for that. But that's the kind of faith that is so deep in us. And we have faith all the time. It's just a matter of, is our faith supporting where we want to go? So I'm not saying we have to get faith. We always have faith. We always have faith every minute of our life. We might have faith. You often hear the other shoe is going to drop. So, we always have faith, but does our faith support where we want our life to be? And that's the question for us to ask. Or like Jan read in that, does our faith allow us to move the mountains in our lives, that we are so grounded in our knowingness that we don't even really have to think about it. We just know it. And so for me, it was through reason and intuition and experience and practice that there is just some things I came to know and believe. And what I have come to know, and I'm just going to share my experiences with you, and gratefully we can talk about everyone's experiences after this, is that number one, we are born for a reason. And I have had experience, I know that's maybe a teaching I have embraced, but I have learned that from experiences. And there are things I think in this life we need to do, maybe work through. I don't know, some people call it a school. Joseph Campbell said we're here to experience our bliss. I don't know what it is, but I know that there is a reason. I believe this life is bigger than this experience, that this life is an ongoingness, that this experience in this body is just one part of an infinite life experience. And then I will also believe that I will be in this body as long as I need to be here to accomplish what I need to do. And I believe this is true for all of us. It's not necessarily that simple. We have a choice, but I'm not going to get into the weeds of all of this. There's so much to talk about, so much to know, and so exciting, such an exciting journey of discovery. And for faith, I also have faith that the universe responds to my demands upon it. And that we are offered so much, but how much we can take is totally up to us. And then I look around at my experience and I think, well, maybe we do have guides or guardian angels or a guiding presence, or maybe it's just our connection to that infinite life within us. I don't know, but there is something that feels like we have a guide, a guard, or something. And I had these experiences before I discovered the principles that I now believe in our teaching. And one of my experiences was before our third daughter was born. And I share this because it was when I look back on it, it's such a magical experience for me. But Paul and I had a boy and a girl, which seemed quite perfect. And we weren't going to have any more children. We were living 3,000 miles away from any relatives. His parents were dead. My parents were dead. I had no siblings. We really didn't have a support system around us. It was just us. So having more children, how difficult would that be without a support system? But one day I was in the living room and I heard this voice. I literally heard this voice. You will have a third child. And it was like, I don't know what that was. I didn't at that point have a faith tradition, but I just knew it. I just knew it. There was an inner knowing me. And so when Paul came home, I had to tell him. He sat down on the sofa for 5 minutes to adjust. But, and so this third child was born, which is the mother of my only grandchild and someone I have deep connection to. But those voices, that we hear sometimes and we discard, but they're things to listen to. What are we so often discard those things and our intuition, but there is a voice in us that if we listen, will be a guide for us, will tell us so many things. During this fire, this horrible, horrible time we've been going through, I read a story and I love this story. For me, I saw a great deal of faith in this, a demonstration of what I believe as that power that watches over us, that whatever it is ours to do and our time to do, it kind of is there for us. This is a bit of a longer story than I would normally read during a talk. And if I can cut out some of it, I will. I know many of you have probably read it, but let me share this with you because I love it. Myron knew about the wind warning. The Marion County Sheriff's Office put the area under a level 2 evacuation Monday morning and sent crews out to the residents to evacuate. And I know that many of us in our here today were under a level 2 evacuation. And some, he said, figured it was precautionary. They did say this might be your only warning, as we probably won't be able to get back up here. Myron took it seriously. He spent a few hours watering around his house, everything he could do to protect his property. He lived up by the lake, I think it was up by the Detroit Lake area. And he prepared to leave. At around 6:30, the power went out and he started his generator. Then the first branch fell on his roof about 9:15 p.m. 10 minutes later, an even bigger branch came crashing down, and he went outside and he looked up and he saw the sky had turned orange. He said, I ran to the end of the driveway, looked down the canyon, and both sides of the river were engulfed in flames. He said, from there, everything went into overdrive. He ran back into the house, turned off the generator, grabbed essentials, and headed out. Jumping in his car, driving down North Fork Road, but near Elkhorn Valley Golf Course, he was stopped by a huge log in the road, and his car had got a flat tire. He said, I couldn't go any farther, but driving back to his house on that flat tire, he decided to get his pickup. The flames were pretty close to the house, he said, within 100 yards. And he got back in his car and he started driving, and he thought, you've got to pull over and get the hell down to the river, because when he got in his pickup and drove the other direction, there were more logs across that road. So there was no way he could get out of his property, and he was trapped. Myron headed off the road and under a concrete bridge where he was up to his waist in water. I just hung out there for about an hour, he said. It was about 11 p.m. and all of a sudden I started noticing that all the vegetation under the bridge was starting on fire, and I had to get out. He headed downstream to a place in the river where the river widened, and came across 3 plastic chairs sitting on the bank of the river, along with a can of beer. And armed with the green chair and the brew, in the middle of the river, he wondered what his next move would be. I looked upstream and saw a ledge, a rock jutting out into the middle of the river. That looked like a good spot, he said. So I crossed the river to the ledge, and then the winds just came at me. Wind speeds, which have been estimated at 70 miles per hour or higher, funneled down the canyon, blasting Myron with ember showers as the entire forest began pulsing in flames. When the wind finally kicked up, he said, I picked up the chair and held it in front of me, and that chair was incredible. It helped a lot. When the winds died down, he sat on the chair on his rock peninsula, trying to stay awake as the firestorm ebbed and flowed. After a few hours, Myron started to feel okay, as though he might make it. But he soon realized the air was getting so smoky, he was concerned about breathing. That was the one thing I was really unsure about, he said. Am I getting enough oxygen? He put his t-shirt over his mouth and noticed that the air appeared cleaner along the surface of the water. There was a couple foot buffer between the smoke and the water. And he said the key was to stay down low next to the water and breathe through the t-shirt. It had subsided some, and the flames weren't going crazy the way it had been all night, he said. He crossed the river and climbed back to his car, which amazingly had not been destroyed. And he drove, clanking on the flat tire, toward the Elkhorn Golf Course, and he looked around. He sat in his car shocked for maybe an hour. It was around 2 p.m. when he saw 3 sets of emergency lights. And let me tell you, that was an awesome sight, he said. These big rigs cleared the road. In looking back, Myron said it was plenty of luck, plus knowing the river and having spent a long time outdoors, that saved him. Luck in that if those trees hadn't stopped him, he likely would have driven directly into the firestorm that absolutely torched the area near Highway 22. At some point, he figured he'd have to repay his neighbor for borrowing their patio furniture. I suppose I should get them a new chair. So what he said was what good luck he had. And I'm sure there are many who look at that as just plain good luck. For me, every one of those events in that story was inspiring. I just thought, well, it wasn't his time to go. There is something he has to do. This is my faith journey. I'm sure there's others who just look at that and say, what a coincidence. What a coincidence the chair was there. What a coincidence that the logs had fallen across the road that he couldn't get out. But for me, I see this as the divine presence in his life. It was not his time to go. And what looks like roadblocks for us often in our faith journey, and we look at those and we think, oh, so God really isn't there for us. But perhaps those things that appear that for logs for us along our way are really a guide for us, or directing us to something else that is better for us. I know you know what I'm talking about. So this story was really inspiring to me. And if you want to call it luck or whatever, that's fine. But for my journey, I get how that works. I have had experiences. I've listened to your experiences. I know how that works. And we had an experience during that fire. We had to, our where my horses are was closer to where the fire was coming from, the Estacada area. And so we knew we better remove the horses. Well, I don't have a pickup or a horse trailer, which may seem odd if you have horses, but I don't go to shows. I don't take them places. And all the years I've had horses, I've never taken them anywhere. The vet comes to our place. So I was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Well, our house is about 5 miles away from there. So I thought, well, the only thing we can do is walk our horses to our house. And I knew people along the way would be very tolerant because it was an emergency situation. But as we were walking out of our driveway, a young man stepped out of his house and he said, have you heard of Cowgirls 911? And I said, no, I haven't. He said, let me call them for you. And so he did. And then we were in conversation with this Cowgirls 911, which I had never heard about. And this young man just happened to step out of his house with his cell phone. And as we just kept walking, and somebody else said, hey, why don't you stop here, put your horses in our pasture while you wait for this Cowgirls 911. So there was just another person along the way that had a pasture right there by the road. We put the horses there. They had a great time. And this little gal, probably an hour later, pulled up. She was 18 years old, driving this big rig, and was rescuing horses. She had 3 already in her horse trailer. She put our 2 in her horse trailer, took them to her mother's, and her mother was, I haven't been down there yet, but I intend to go, was providing a place. She was picking up goats and horses and sheep from everybody. And I forgot to tell you this part. As we were leaving our barn, I just prayed, God, help us get these horses safely. This seems like a big deal, but we're going to do it, and just help us. And then along the way came this man with his phone, the people with the pasture that let us put our horses there, this 18-year-old gal. And I want to tell you what's come out of that. I've become friends with this family. They're amazing. And my daughter set up they put them on Facebook, shared on Facebook, and a lot of our friends donated to this group. So it was just a magical thing all the way around. And then a week later, and we had so much smoke where that was that it wasn't safe for them to stay there. But about a week later, she brought them back. And it was just such an amazing experience all the way around. But I had prayed, and see, depending on our consciousness and what is needed, things can materialize instantly, or in the proper time. It just works that way. It is said that we see the world not as it is, but as we are. And I agree with that perfectly. And perhaps the world is only as we see it individually. So whatever is right for each one of us is revealed through this inner power and intelligence. This is really the divine presence in each one of us. And I guess if we don't listen deeply enough in this life, we'll get to come back again and experience it, or whatever it is we need to know. But I know that there's a journey into the awakening of the truth of our beingness with the oneness of God. And whatever that takes, the best practice I know is to listen deeply, to pay attention. And I guess that's mindfulness, isn't it? So I like for us to have a practice together, because, you know, what we do together is more powerful. Well, it's not more powerful in the sense that we have greater power in us. It's that I think we put out a more powerful energy field when we focus together on something. So this week, let us together as a community focus on mindfulness, being aware. And as we become a stronger and more healthy community, our vision as a World Healing Center begins to expand in its own way. And I have faith that as we hold this vision for this community as a World Healing Center, that in whatever way is appropriate for us, it begins to unfold and manifest and expand powerfully. And yeah, faith. This is amazing journey that we are on. So in deep gratitude for getting to share it with you, I say thank you and namaste. Have a wonderful week.
Gonna set it free, let things be, let the thrill of life carry me, 'cause now I know I'm in the flow, I'm finally free, oh blessed be. Gonna set it free, let things be, let the thrill of life carry me, 'cause now I know I'm in the flow, I'm finally free, oh blessed be. Life unfolds with grace and ease, endless possibilities. They're everywhere, they've always been, when I choose to let them in. Gonna set it free, let things be, let the thrill of life carry me, 'cause now I know I'm in the flow, I'm finally free, oh blessed be. Gonna set it free, let things be, let the thrill of life carry me, 'cause now I know I'm in the flow, I'm finally free, oh blessed be. I've outgrown those smaller dreams, the way they used to limit me. I make the space, invite love in, magic fills my life again. Shoo. Shoo, shoo, shoo. There's something bigger calling me to follow where my passion leads. I trust that flow, don't need to know. I dance into the great unknown. Gonna set it free, let things be, let the thrill of life carry me, 'cause now I know I'm in the flow, I'm finally free, oh blessed be. Gonna set it free, let things be, let the thrill of life carry me, 'cause now I know I'm in the flow, I'm finally free, oh blessed blessed be, 'cause now I know I'm in the flow. I'm finally free. Oh, blessed be. I'm finally free. You know I'm finally free. Oh, blessed be.
Reverend Julie, thank you so much for your message and for the message that we take with us all week long into our lives. This is the part of our celebration where we remember to support the things that support us when we act on our faith and our commitment. We take this opportunity, and I know many of you mail in contributions, but this is the time when we express gratitude for the abundance in our lives and prosperity in all of its many, many forms. We have an intention and a vision for the Unity Center in this, our 30th year. It is spirit led. We're co creating a vibrant, inclusive ministry, welcoming and supporting everyone on their spiritual journey. On the screen, you can see ways to donate on our website or by the mail. And as we know, we hold those gifts, and together we bless those gifts, no matter how or when we give them. But they do support the Unity Center of West Lynn and what it does in the world, in our Food for the Heart, and on from there. So let's say together a blessing that many know by heart, but is on the screen. God's love in me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. And all that we give is also involved in various activities that we do. And at this point, um, the most important quick announcement is for you to remember that next week, October 4th, October, can you get that? It's October. October 4th, we are moving to a new time, our new permanent collaborative time of 10:30 in the morning. So our Zoom room opens at 10 for those people who want to come and chat and connect. The service is at 10:30, same link, and we are delighted to have you join us. And please share that also, just to remind people that we are on YouTube every week. So some of these messages are so valuable that we want to watch them again. So as we close our celebration, we focus on this representative of the light of unity. We thank you, Julie, for your inspiring message and for the love that is behind. And as I always say, I have faith in her faith, which is one of the reasons we gather each week, is because in the course of a week, sometimes we lose faith in our own faith. And so we invite all of us to take time and reflect on the assignments she's given us, suggestions, and to notice the effect on our life. The unity principles, new thought principles, deeply enrich our lives and the lives around us. And we hope you will invite others. And next week, we will have with us the redoubtable Reverend Brian Myers with us. So those of you who like Reverend Myers want to be with us, he is such a very interesting man. And for those of you who may not know, the Unity Center has focused its entire 30 years on a sense of interfaith. So we know that there's one message in many pathways to deliver it. And so Reverend Myers, and this is the Jewish High Holy Days. Yom Kippur starts today at dusk. These are the highest holy days in the Jewish canon. So we know that a good deal of the world is really focused on its spiritual life. So come be with us for Rabbi Brian next week. For further support, check out our website. Be sure you're on our newsletter, the Unity e-News, which comes out about Thursday each week, that our wonderful administrator Sharon McGrath creates for us, and also the 24-hour prayer line, Silent Unity. Also, please remember that we stay after for 20 minutes to half an hour to chat, ask questions, and this is a topic well worthy of questions, I know, for many of you. So we bring up the next slide, and we see these beautiful candles, which are representative of the light in us, the light in our life. We symbolically blow out the candle, but we really know that the light never goes out. Why? Because we are the light. Marty's got her candle. Woohoo! It's great. And for those of you who are not with us this week, we tell you that we love you. We know you are out there, and invite you to be with us. The women's group and the men's group meet Monday, the second week of, and the Tuesday of the second week of the month. So check out the e-news for all of the things that are going on. Despite our digital life, the Unity Center is active and involved. Food from the Heart, our wonderful service project, is also in the e-news. You can learn about that, and you are welcome to volunteer and contribute. That'll be the second Wednesday, second Friday of the month. So let us say together the prayer of transformation, which is on your screen. The light of God is in us. The love of God moves through us. The power of God transforms us. The presence of God is who we are. Wherever we go, God is, and all is well. Thank you so much for your support and your participation. You're very important to the Unity Center. So let's all reach out this week in love and the spirit of unity. Have a beautiful, safe, and healing week. Thank you.